debunking the statistics that are being thrown around by big blue state governors and big blue city leaders. Well, okay, the statistics show that blue cities and states are safer when it comes to crime and homicide, so says the libs running those areas. Now, this is all coming on the back of President Trump saying, hey, we're going to send the National Guard into these areas in order to protect the federal facilities, like in places like Portland, where again is so peaceful. You can just enjoy a nice cup of coffee on the veranda and go to a cafe. It's all peaceful and nothing wrong ever happens there. But in response to that, there have been memes being made. Governor Abbott of Texas posted a meme that basically said, the blue leaders are very, very upset. President Trump, do not touch our crime. We love our crime in this city. Now, what's been interesting is a bunch of the blue governors have been responding to that tweet, specifically New York and California, with some statistics. Now, the question is whether or not those statistics are accurate and representing the whole picture. First of which is Governor Kathy Hochul. She responded to that meme that Governor Abbott posted with this: Texas total crime rate is 20.5% higher than New York's. In case you're confused, that means it's worse. Of course, libs are trying to do those mic drop, I gotcha, with these sorts of statistics. Well, then you have to ask the question, is that really what's going on? Is crime in New York actually less bad than it is in Texas? Okay, well, let me solve this problem for you. I know this is going to come as a shock to most people, but in the great state of Texas, they do this crazy thing called enforce the law. They actually prosecute crime, and therefore they have more convictions of criminals, unlike in the state of New York, specifically in New York City, where they don't prosecute crime. And guess what? If you don't prosecute crime, yeah, you're going to have less of a crime percentage of your overall population against other places that do prosecute crimes. Let me give you an example. This is our friend Savannah Craven. You may remember this clip from, I believe, April of this year, where she was just walking and talking on the streets to people, as people are supposed to do, and got attacked for her troubles. Go ahead and play clip 7.
Of having a child. Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
That is horrible, and I apologize for having to show that to you, but again, need to make a point of the example here. Glenn, can you pull up graphic 9 too? Because this is what Savannah ended up looking like after this brutal attack by a person who wants to kill babies, which shouldn't be surprising. If you're willing to kill people, why would you not be willing to punch people in the face? Well, lo and behold, several months later, Alvin Bragg, the famous Manhattan district attorney, dropped all of the charges. I believe graphic 8 would be sufficient for right now. The same guy who made up a big case to prosecute the former president of the United States, the current president of the United States, President Trump, didn't charge this on video clear assault of a conservative activist who's just asking questions on the street. Now, I know this is one example, but it would be crazy to think that this didn't happen over and over and over again, especially considering the fact that this was freaking on video and you're still not going to prosecute it as a crime. All of that's to be said. Sure, Kathy Hochul, I guess in theory, statistically, you can say that, well, yeah, there are 20% more crimes in the state of Texas. Well, yeah, if the state prosecutes crimes and therefore has criminals being locked up, yeah, you're going to have a higher percentage of quote unquote crime that is convicted. If you don't prosecute, guess what? You're going to have more crime and your statistic is also going to be lower. That's not exactly how we want to run cities in this country. We'd actually like to prosecute crime and enforce the law. And if you don't get to brag about how your crime rate is quote unquote lower. Ask anybody on the street if they feel safer in New York City or in really any city in Texas. They're going to say, I feel safer in Texas because they actually prosecute crime, which actually is a deterrent for criminals. Which brings us to another big blue governor. Governor Gavin Newsom of California also quote tweeted or quote posted, X'd this meme from this very accurate meme from Governor Greg Abbott. He says, hey, at Greg Abbott, Texas homicide rate is 39% higher than California's. Call home your National Guard and deal with your crime epidemic. Ooh, burn from the governor of California. Well, I wonder where he's getting those statistics. Well, they actually came from the CDC. And yeah, those are the statistics posted in the CDC. But you have to ask yourself, well, is that data accurate? Well, the FBI came out with a new system of reporting crime and crime data nationwide. And if you ask the question, well, does California entirely adhere to those new reporting practices? The answer is no. In 2022, 98.8% of Texas law enforcement agencies were adherent to the new FBI system, the National Incident-Based Reporting System. Basically, 100% of Texas policing agencies submitted all of their data to the FBI in 2022. Again, this is part of a rollout of the FBI's, National Incident-Based Reporting System. California, 50%. Half of the agencies in California did not report to that system. And here, I guess, I don't know if the math works out here, but if you don't report by up to half of the crimes committed in your state, I would imagine that the crimes in your state would look lower. This is not difficult math. Now, the numbers that Gavin was citing were from 2023, just to be fair, and not much improved. It only jumped to 75% in California of policing agencies were reporting to the National Incident-Based Reporting System that the FBI has. And it wasn't including one of the biggest crime centers, San Bernardino County, California. And if you're familiar with California, you're familiar with San Bernardino. And if you omit the crime statistics from that county, guess what? It's going to look like you have less crime. Now, the numbers from 2024 and obviously 2025 are not available, but the bottom line here is Governor Newsom is quoting statistics based on his own state statistics that aren't in compliance with the federal numbers, and then claiming that he's done something. Now, I will say this, it's not, homicide rates aren't good at all. We don't want to see homicide rates anywhere in the country. Red state, blue state, purple state, doesn't matter. Homicide is bad. I feel like that's a thing that we all know, and I don't think it needs to be reiterated. But at the same time, you can't fudge the numbers and then post statistics that the CDC has, but they only have them because you guys didn't report all of the crime statistics that came in through this new system. I realize it's a little bit convoluted, it's a little bit nuanced, but that's what conservatism is. It's the ability to deal with nuance. The bottom line here is if you don't report all the crime statistics, yeah, the crime statistics are going to look lower. Thanks, Gavin, for helping point that out through the state that is not not submitting all of the data. By the way, it was interesting too. Several of the articles about this were talking about how California is not compliant because the system is too difficult. In other words, the dumb bureaucracies in California haven't adapted to the new system, whereas Texas, no problem at all. 100% of them are reporting to the entirety of all of their quote-unquote crime statistics. But again, Governor Newsom and Governor Hochul are trying to play off these statistics as if they mean something without obviously giving the full picture. What's the quote? There are lies, damn lies, and statistics, and that is what we are seeing here. But there was one other governor that was in that meme shared by Greg Abbott. I'm surprised he didn't take up the entire scene because, well, physical dimensions being at play. And that was J.B. Pritzker. This I thought was interesting too. This is coming out of Breitbart News. They actually compiled all of the crime data and the shooting victims in Chicago specifically throughout the last 10 years. And the number is staggering and shocking. Warzone. Chicago sees over 32,000 shooting victims in the last decade alone. This comes on the heels of a Breitbart report where they're talking about last week alone, 30 people were shot, 5 of them fatally. And this is another interesting statistic too. Yes, Chicago shooting deaths have gone down. One of the Freakonomics components of that is the ability to save people from gunshot wounds has gone up. So the shootings have relatively stayed the same. Deaths have gone down, which is good. That's a good thing. We don't want to see more deaths. But at the same time, if it's because they're able to be saved at the hospital, well, that doesn't eliminate the danger of being shot on the war zone streets of Chicago. According to the Chicago Tribune, over 330 people have been murdered in Chicago thus far in 2025. And it's up to J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Chicago, who is now saying Trump wants to create a war zone. Newsflash, J.B., it's already a war zone. Having said that, this is what J.B. Pritzker is saying why President Trump is possibly sending National Guard to Chicago. It's not because he's trying to protect federal agencies. It's not because Chicago is, in fact, a war zone. It's because of this ridiculous reason. Go ahead and play, what is it, cut 4?
At them, but they think they can get people used to the idea. And next year, I fear that what they're going to do is deploy these folks eventually to polling places and say they're protecting the vote.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem, JB. If everybody's able to vote and an American citizen therefore eligible to vote, what would be the problem of making sure that the polling stations are safe? If they're unsafe, maybe we should beef up security and make them safe. Gavin Newsom also said something similar to this of ICE might be at the polling stations to intimidate voters. Why would that intimidate voters, Gavin? Is it because maybe the voters that are voting shouldn't be voting because they're here illegally? It's kind of a conundrum you've got yourself in there. Again, the governors of the blue states of around the country again claiming, no, this is we're totally peaceful. Nothing is bad. Nothing bad is going on here. Fudging statistics, manipulating numbers, and then claiming that they've done something is hilarious and should be seen as hilarious. I give this 4 eye rolls. It's a new thing I'm doing. It's a rating system that I have in line with the Washington Post's Pinocchios. I'm going to go with 4 eye rolls here. It's not the full 5 eye rolls just because homicide is bad regardless of where you are. And we'll save that last eye roll for that specifically. But 4 eye rolls go to the blue governors of these blue states who claim their crime is down. As we wrap this up, just because we like to hit on Portland, and we're going to talk to Savannah Hernandez a little bit later about Portland, claiming that their blue cities and blue states are totally safe is ridiculous. Singing about it is even more ridiculous. I regret to inform you that the liberal boomers are singing yet again in the in the totally safe city of Portland. Watch this.
This land is my land.
All right, let's we don't need any more of that. Lying about statistics doesn't make cities safer, and singing about them doesn't change reality.